Hey, you guys. So there, there's a whole lot going on. I know you guys can feel it. There's tension in the air. There's like people, like I said in my last video, not being themselves, and us questioning like, are we in the correct reality? Because it just seems like things are just getting more strange, and it's all behavior. So behavior traces back to moons and the moon cycles, planets and whatnot. We have Mercury going direct out of retrograde, and then you got all these other planets that are entering Pisces. Venus, Mercury, Jupiter, Sun, they're all like in the constellation of Pisces, which in a nutshell the metaphor would be you're being challenged. There's polar opposites. What is right, what is wrong, what is a good decision, what is a conscious choice versus a decision, or an obligation versus an option. So you're given these opportunities to make these selections because that's going to be part of your timeline change. And the easiest way I can really kind of sum all of this up is it's leading up to a timeline jump. And timeline jumps really consist of things were supposed to go this way, and then something occurred in your life or an event or whatever happens. It changes the course of where things were going. So like, let's say you change your diet. That changes your course of what the future would have been like. So you changing or making a decision, then you have a different alternative of a future. So imagine all your decisions that you make, changing and editing and reformatting the future over and over and over and over and over and over and over. And then every time that you have a deja vu, or you dream of something and then you see it come true, or something you feel familiar about, like a deja vu, it's editing that future again. That's what I think a deja vu is, because you've seen it before, it already happened, because you already played it out. Someone else brought this to my attention. She talked about like how to go into the Akashic records. Now, what is Akashic? What is Akasha? That's there's a whole lot. I know I'm cramming you guys with a lot, but if you've already been following my channel for a long time, this makes sense. So Akashic records is basically like when you are, like, let's say if you were in church and you were to receive a word in the spirit, you received a divine intervention, or you have discernment. That's the same as Akashic records. You're pulling from a known and unknown source of information that is directly from a divine source. Or they call it the ether. Some people say, oh, the astral plane. Or the astral projected and they saw this and that happen, so they came back with the information. So a lot of that is happening at the same time as this timeline jump that we're entering. So it's like, if people are paying attention to the course of things, something shifted where things were, like, let's say McDonald's was on the corner. It was always this color and that color. Then all of a sudden, one day, the color changed. Beep is right. There goes my affirmation. That is a timeline jump, because it just happened right overnight. You can't even recall, was it really that McDonald's? Was it the paint? Was it remodeled? Or was it your timeline just changed? And it's kind of weird to explain that. Like, do we really live in a world where things could glitch like that or shift? I'm starting to believe so. I really had trouble believing that there are glitches, or there's I've seen glitches before. Can't explain it. Can't explain it. I don't even know who's programming things on from the other side. Can't explain that either. I've seen videos where the airplanes are stuck in the air. Can't explain it. They try to explain it. NASA tried to explain it, and like even NASA's trying to explain. I forgot what they were trying to explain recently. They get involved, and then it's like just stop and tell the truth, because trying to cover everything up by mapping things out, making people believe that there's these pool balls that are rotating in the sky, but I'm navigating, because here I go. When a planet is in retrograde, it can't stop its rotation, because science-wise, centripetal force is infinite. Like, you can't stop centripetal force. It just keeps going. Unless you're in zero gravity, like a UFO or a UAP, which those are controlled, but when it's a natural element, solid, liquid, gas, it doesn't really stop, because then it'll combust itself, right? So I'm smart. And so going forward with what I'm saying, basically, I think the planets flip upside down, and not us, but other planets that go retrograde, because the Earth doesn't go retrograde. This planet doesn't go retrograde. And then why is that every other planet goes retrograde except for Earth? Interesting, right? Does Mars go retrograde? I don't know. I'm gonna have to go on ChatGPT and do some little diving, because I have some questions. Anyway, but yes, there's a serious timeline jump. A lot of folks said it was the 21st to the 28th of March. And then we're going into the constellation Aries with our zodiac chart. So everything begins again. And it's a rebirth, a renewal, a restart. A lot of folks, they call this, they call it repenting or recompentance. It's the same actions, it's just said differently. So I remember when I was in church, that was the whole thing, was you gotta repent. Now I just see it as the cycles and alignments of planets, they renewal anyway. So you just kind of think of it as a death renewal, as they call it. You're dying to an old timeline. Here comes a new timeline. This timeline will probably be more detail oriented. Like, there'll be a lot more things that involve your attention and your time, energy. You might get tired and drained, but it does look good for us going through July. For me, just looking into the Akashic, and I see that things will be going better for a lot of us come July. We just got to get through the next couple months. The struggles will be a little bit intense, but every struggle leads us to the better version, and it makes us fight for what we need to do. Like, if you're job searching, this is pushing you to really look for a job, and you're going to get a job. It's not created for us to fail, because we would have already failed. I gave the example a few days ago to someone. I was talking about how we look at the Bible and religion and such as a boost or a push. It's not really like a guidebook or a reliability on something. Like, a lot of folks right now are waiting for something to happen. They're looking up and saying, "Oh, Jesus, where are you?" But then we kind of have to have conscious sense and go, we've been in this waiting period for a very long time. Nothing's happened. We've been told this and that will happen. There are consequences for our actions, and this and that. But then it's like, how could we live a life constantly under a threat, where you're threatening yourself because of your conscious thoughts or subconscious thoughts from what something has told you over time, repeatedly over time? Where's the results? Where's the good in everything? Where is the positive enforcement? So that's what I'm kind of waiting for, is where is the validity and the bonus from going through all the learnings of that? So that's just the one thing I question about when it comes to religion in general, all religions. Someone brought this up too. They said, there is only one God. And so all the religions that we have are, they're not worshiping. I don't like that word. They are they're acknowledging that there is only one, you know, one spirit entity, one God, one creator. And so if there is, then all the religions basically are, they're talking about one source. And so why can't all sources be united? Why can't they just unite all? I don't know. Because they all seem separate and segregated. And we've been segregated in different cultures and religions. And it's like, when are we going to realize, like, we need to stop doing that? So that's what this timeline shift is going to do for everybody, is kind of merge things that, you know, weren't able to be merged, rules being broken in a good way, contracts, as I like to call it, being made, things happening for the better. And then what was I going to say? Collapsing of timelines, where, you know, like some people, they battle with addiction, so that timeline collapsing, and then a timeline of what do you call it, liberation, which is opposite of that. And then victory, adversity, what's the other word we look for? Not prosperity, but you guys know what I mean. It's like when it starts with a P. This is gonna bother me all day, but I'm gonna stop rambling. That's all I wanted to get out. I wanted to just do an update on what's happening in the spirit realm, 'cause that's how I do. Anyway, I'll catch you guys later in the next video. That's it. Shout out to this guy named Josh that I just taught a dance lesson to. He's doing a good job. He is definitely collapsing timelines and timeline jumping. So anywho, I will talk to you guys later. People, get out of the street. Can't be walking in the street. Bye.